Hello, 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 beautiful people. Happy Monday. And I am excited to be live. Y'all know I live for these. I enjoy these. I love lives. I said this in my last live video. I love lives more than pre recorded content because it just feels so natural and it feels like, oh, we're actually engaging. People can comment and put their feedback and thoughts in the comment section, which is why I love this. So, this has been highly requested. I have had several people reach out to me and say, hey, I see you are all over the nation speaking. Put us up on game. What are you doing? How are you doing this? And I am about to give you all some nuggets of wisdom all week long. So today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So everybody's putting out their Cyber Monday deals and all that. And I'm doing this, guess what, for free because I love y'all. Y'all my people. And I really do have a vested interest in seeing small businesses win, especially knowing just, the times we live in, the economy. I really do want to see business owners thrive. So before we get into this, I know somebody's going to say, you do realize that speaking is one of the number one fears for most people. Yes, I am aware of that. And I'm going to hit you with the same line that Andre 3000 said to John Legend. Sometimes you got to come from behind that piano. What does that mean? Sometimes we use our businesses as a way to try to hide behind that. And you can't do that. You have to be the face of your brand. If you're an author, if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're any kind of business, whether it's products or services, every single person can benefit from getting on stage and talking about their life experience or talking about something that's unique where people get to put the face to the brand. They're like, oh, this is who this person is behind that company, right? And even if you're not necessarily talking about the services or products you provide, you're still being the face of your brand. You have to. There's no way around it. One of the things my mentors told me back there, if you can see her picture, Dr. Avis DeWeaver, give Dr. Avis a shout out. She would always say, more people need to know you today than the number of people who knew you yesterday. More people need to know you today than the number of people who knew you yesterday. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as an author, coach, consultant, whatever you do and whatever you're trying to build your brand around, people need to know you. And I have been really fortunate to receive some guidance very early on in my entrepreneurial journey. I see Sandy. Hi, Sandy. I see somebody else it just says LinkedIn user. I see a piano and a heart. So heart to you. But I'm going to talk about the why today. Why is this beneficial to you as a business owner and as an entrepreneur? I know you all want me to jump straight into the how. Okay, how do I book all of these speaking engagements and everything, right? But instead of jumping straight into that, which, we have a whole week together, I'm going to start with the why. And the first number one reason, I have my list here, so you'll see me looking to the side, but number one is brand exposure. Nobody can know about your services or your products if they don't know you exist. One of the things that I learned very early on as an entrepreneur is that we have to always be in a position where people know about us, where they know about our businesses and what we do. So a lot of people know me as the DEI person, right? Because that's what I do. I have worked in the DEI sector for a long time, and I get to talk all over the country to talk about different topics related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. But the reason that I was able to transition from just being, the researcher, oh yeah, she does a lot of research around this, to being seen as, the thought leader, is because I put myself out there. And here's a big part of the reason why I had to put myself out there, y'all. This is a lesson I learned very, very early on in the first year of business. So I had a nice contract. As soon as I started my business, it was like, yes, I got a 3-month contract. This is good. Because for a lot of folks, it takes a while to get some of those contracts. And so I secured a 3-month contract. I felt like I was on cloud 9, like, yes, this business ownership thing is going to work out. But guess what happened? Once that contract was up, I was like, I earned zero in revenue this month. What do I do? Right. And so that's that feast or famine cycle that a lot of businesses go through because sometimes we rely on just one thing to bring in revenue. We expect our services or our products to be the one thing that's going to consistently bring revenue to our business. But we have to recognize that there's cycles to it. And you also have to recognize that your brand has to constantly be exposed to the world in order for you to generate constant revenue. One of the ways to do that is through speaking engagements. A lot of times people assume that you have to do, all these paid ads on Facebook and paid ads on LinkedIn and YouTube, Instagram. But a lot of people don't think about the exposure that your company can get by you going on stage. And it doesn't have to necessarily be going on stage and being, being a keynote. You can be a panelist. You can even be a moderator. You can be in a breakout session, but you have to be present. People have to see you. They have to know you, which goes to my second point. You build trust. If people don't know you, and they don't know what you stand for, it's really hard to purchase products or purchase services from you when they don't know what your values are. They don't know what you stand on. They have to know you. And that was another harsh reality that I had to learn too, because sometimes we want to, just share a little bit. And I do think it's important. Like there are certain parts of your identity and certain parts of, just your private life. You keep that private. Like I'm not saying you have to put yourself completely out there 100% where you're so exposed to the world that everybody knows everything about you. However, people need to understand that you're a person too. You have a personality, you have likes, you have dislikes. You're just like everyone else. And that goes to my third point is that it humanizes your brand. When you speak or when you put yourself in a position to be seen as a thought leader or an expert and people are actually tuned into what you have to say, it humanizes your brand. It's not just something that they see online or it's just not some fancy website, but they see a person. And one thing I can tell you about people is that people will always want to connect with people. We saw during the pandemic just the toll that it took on a lot of people is not having that human connection. And so what we did, we got creative. We found other different ways to connect virtually. And my family, for example, what they did every Sunday is they would have these Zoom calls just so we could stay connected because we were missing that human interaction. And we know, and I know I'm getting psychological here, but y'all know I love psychology and and just understanding human behavior and the human thought process. But we know that people want to connect with people. So you knowing that as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, that means that people want to connect with you. One way they can do that is through hearing your story or hearing you speak about something that is relatable to that audience, right? I've had people come up to me after a presentation and say, I felt like you were speaking directly to me. As a presenter, that is one of the best feelings in the world to know that your presentation or something you talked about resonated with that person. And just like that, you built that connection with the person through storytelling, through being, on stage, saying something that resonated with the audience members. And so that goes to number 4, my fourth point. Y'all know I have a whole list. I go down the list. I try not to be on here all day, but because I know you all have to, do other things. You got businesses to run. You got to get back to work. So number 4, my fourth point is that it enhances credibility. So not only does it increase brand exposure, build trust, and humanize your brand, but it also enhances your credibility as a business owner, as a leader, and that is so important. Anybody who runs an enterprise knows that credibility is key. If you don't have credibility in your business, if people don't trust you, if they don't see you as someone who's going to do things in a manner that is ethical, in a manner that is, you know, you're doing the right thing, then they're not going to want to work with you. They're not going to want to purchase your services or your products. And so you have the chance to enhance your credibility by going on stage and telling people about yourself, telling people about your story, telling people about maybe something you've learned. And the thing about speaking in particular, and I know it can be very intimidating. I started with that disclaimer as I recognize this is the number one fear. But the thing about it is that it can come in many different forms. A lot of times when people think professional speaker, the first thing that may come to mind is, oh, motivational speaker. But there's other ways to speak. Like you have folks who focus more on research. You have the educators, you have motivational speakers, you have different types of speakers. And once you really figure out what you enjoy most and what can help you build your credibility, then you can start developing your speech around that. You can develop different types of speeches around what you're trying to do. So me as a full-time DEI consultant and coach, my approach tends to be a lot more educational. Now I do add like some different, type, like I'll incorporate different things. I might tell a joke or two. I might have to do a call and response and have the audience raise their hands if something applies, right? Because you want to keep it engaging. But because of the nature of what I do, my delivery is typically going to have an educational approach to it, right? And so that's one of the things that I really hope that people understand is that you don't have to be a certain type of speaker to excel. There are different types of speakers in the world, and they all have something very unique that they do, and you can do the same. I'm just going to look at the comments really quickly. Hey, Dr. Dar, your story helps build trust. Absolutely. I see Dr. Oh, hey, Dr. Suman. She said, love your warmth and sense of humor, Mary. And yes to credibility, earning and maintaining trust, and an ethical stance, all demonstrated through authentic storytelling. Boom. There it is. Now, for number 5, the reason why it is important to consider speaking as a business leader is because you position yourself as a thought leader. I know I touched on this, I believe, in another video, but it's really important, especially for my authors, coaches, consultants in particular, or someone, or even content creators. If you work in a space where originality is really important too, then you want to position yourself as a thought leader. People need to see you as someone who knows something about something, right? Because I'll be straight up with you all. I can't think of very many organizations that would shell out top dollar to work with an organization when they have not done something to show that they know how to come up with innovative solutions to it or creative solutions. Like people need to see your work. And one of the ways that can be done is through speaking. You can talk about specifically things you've done in your field to help solve a problem. Or you can talk about some creative solution or some creative product that your company developed to fix something. And just like that, you position yourself as a thought leader. It's like, oh, wow, they created this innovative way of solving this problem, this innovative solution. This is the company we need to work with. I want to work with him. I want to work with her. I want to work with that individual right there. And so just like that, you positioned yourself as a thought leader. And the last one, number 6, is it creates an opportunity to engage with people and connect. As a business owner, as a leader, you have to constantly connect with individuals, and you have to network and think about, who are you reaching? Are you reaching the folks that you want to reach? Are you reaching the people who would benefit from your services and products? If not, then this is the perfect opportunity for you to consider different ways that you can present and get on the big stage in order to connect with new people. One of the things I love to see after a presenter has just finished presenting, and I go to tons of conferences, I go to different summits and stuff like that. But I love to see like the long line of folks who are waiting to speak with the individual who just presented after they're done presenting, because it just goes to show how it creates an opportunity to connect with people. And I love being in that position too. Of course, I mean, naturally, I'm humanitarian. Of course, I'm like, hey, I want to be like cool with everybody sometimes. But after I'm done presenting, it opens up this opportunity to have a conversation with someone new, and they're telling me about maybe some of the different things they've seen, some of the different struggles they've had, and it just opens up an opportunity to connect with new audiences, to connect with new potential clients, to connect with new potential customers, no matter what you do. And plus, it's really nice to meet new people. Boom. So there you have it. So these are the whys behind it. What I'm going to do this week is I'm going to start getting real specific on, okay, now what are some of the tactics and strategies to actually book paid speaking engagements? Because we know there's a lot of benefits to it. We know that it can really grow your brand and your business. So I want to get into, okay, now these are some of the steps to get there, especially in this day and age. I feel like if you look at most companies and you look at a lot of organizations, they're always looking for different dynamic speakers to bring in. And so it's really important, just some small key strategies that can really help you. I'll give an example of one of the strategies I'm going to talk about is you have to record your content, or you have to find a way to have your material recorded, even if it's just snippets, right? And so that's just a small example of some of the different tactics I'll talk about. But I hope you all found this to be insightful. And I hope you all feel at least comfortable with the idea of, okay, MJ may have a point here. Yes, I get nervous every time I have to present in front of a group, but maybe this could be a great way to increase my brand exposure and get paid in the process and bring in extra revenue in the process. So again, I will be here all week. I sound like a performer. I'm here all week. But I will be here all week providing these insights, because I really do want to see, especially my small business owners. I'm very like pro small business. I think not just because I own a small business, just because you see like the small business community, they really are the backbone, I think, of our economy. And so I really do want to see more and more people feel comfortable getting on stage, presenting, and creating different opportunities for themselves through speaking. Because let's be real, there are folks out here in the world who make 6 and 7 figures just from speaking alone. They do nothing else. And I'll tell you all a secret. It's not really a secret now, is it? But my business, I earned 3 times the amount of revenue that I did in 2022 when I added speaking in there. When I started positioning myself as a speaker, that's when I saw a significant rise in the amount of revenue that my business generated, because I used that as a way to connect with people and to network and meet different clients. And I want that for other folks. So that's it for today. I hope you all have a great week ahead, and I will see you all on Tuesday at the same time. So Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Central, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. And if you're ready, if you're truly ready, make sure you bring a notebook or something with you tomorrow, because I am going to give you some inside tips on how to book paid speaking engagements. All right. See y'all tomorrow.